These days are very difficult for me. The doctor told me that I also need surgery. I think it will be in a week. Please pray for me. Yang Chiwen said, "What are you looking at, damn Westerner?" John said, "What did you say? If you have something to say it in English." He didn't like how the man mumbled in Chinese, despite being able to speak English. Then the Spaniard said, "John, please greet the rest of the apostles. Though they couldn't attend, they are connected via video chat." On the laptop at the table, the faces of 4 people appeared. After John greeted them, the Spaniard summarized, "Well, it seems the introductions are over. Let's sit down and start the discussion." Suppressing his annoyance, John took his seat. Then the Spaniard said, "Since we have a new member, let me introduce myself. I'm the Spaniard, a level 50 gladiator from Spain. As you know, I'm the founder of Messiah, and I assume you all know the reason for its establishment." John said, "To counter the Black Scythe." The Spaniard nodded at John's words, and he added, "Correct. We are here to stop the Black Scythe, the top ranker. We cannot let him continue his solo dominance. Alone, we can't stop him, but together we will." John asked, "How do you plan to stop him?" The Spaniard said, "Isn't that what we are here to discuss?" John said, "It's not something vague to think about. You saw it last time. He earned 20 million points." One said, "That's right. He must have leveled up a lot with experience packs and armed himself with items from the special shop." Another said, "He might have even reached the max level by now." There were various opinions, but the conclusion was that they had to stop the Black Scythe. The Spaniard said, "If anyone has a good idea on how to stop the Black Scythe, please speak freely." One person slowly raised his hand. It was Yang Chiwen from China, and he said, "Why hesitate over something like this? We should go to Korea and kill the Black Scythe." One inquired, "Kill him? Isn't that too hasty?" Yang Chiwen said, "Hasty? So we just watch as he monopolizes the rewards?" Yang Chiwen's eyes gleamed with murderous intent, and he said, "We have to kill him. There's no other way. If we hesitate, we'll lose everything." John quietly voiced his agreement, saying, "I agree." He didn't like the Chinese man, but he agreed with the ruthless suggestion. John added, "Indeed, it seems the Black Scythe is monopolizing the rewards. To survive, power must be balanced. If one person monopolizes, it disrupts the balance and harms other players." Another said, "I agree." Another said, "I also support the idea of killing him." Most supported the assassination of the Black Scythe. Although a formal vote was unnecessary, the Spaniard asked for formality. "Let's have a simple vote. Does anyone oppose killing the Black Scythe? Please raise your hand." No one raised their hand. The Spaniard said, "Then it's unanimous. Let's discuss how to find and kill him. Please share any ideas you have." Immediately, Dark Soul raised his hand, and he said, "My class is Sniper. If we secure his location, I can shoot him in the head from 2 kilometers away. That's how I ranked 3rd in the 11th round." The Spaniard said, "Wow, that's perfect for assassination." Scoffing in Chinese, "Humph, still below me though." Then Yang Chiwen spoke in English. "I'm a hunter. In both reality and the other world, I'm the best when it comes to killing my prey. It'll take me 2 days to track and kill him." Swingman grumbled, "If you're so great, why did you join Messiah? Why not handle the Black Scythe alone?" That caused Yang Chiwen to frown, and he shouted in Chinese, "Why is that weakling here? Go eat some curry." Swingman said, "Can anyone here speak Chinese? It sounds like cursing. Can someone translate?" One said, "Let's stop this." The one who quieted everyone was none other than John, and he asked, "Has anyone here met the Black Scythe?" When everyone remained silent, John spoke seriously. "I have. Just 3 days ago in the other world, he cut off my limbs. Do you know what I felt then? Powerlessness. I couldn't even gauge the gap in strength. The 30 undead I summoned couldn't even strike once before being annihilated." Recalling the emotions, John's eyes trembled. What he felt was not fear. It was anger. John added, "He's a strong enemy, no doubt. But we can't just sit back. I'll mobilize all the forces of the Church of Despair to kill that bastard. As they say, even a tiger uses all its strength to catch a rabbit. Don't bicker about who will lead. We need to attack together to increase our chances of success." One said, "But it's a surprise attack." John said, "Even with a surprise attack, it won't be easy. He didn't reach level 90 by chance. He might already be level 99. We can't afford to be careless." John's words were persuasive. What he said was the most realistic thing they had heard so far, and it was enough to move the hearts of the 12 apostles. The Spaniard said, John is right. We are here to combine our strengths, not to boast about our individual skills. Cooperating is the right way. Since the founder, the Spaniard, said this, the others had no choice but to nod in agreement. John added, then let's head to Korea and start planning. The first step is to find the Black Scythe. At that moment, Dark Soul said, I have an idea about that. Everyone turned to Dark Soul, who had spoken. It seemed like a good plan, judging by their expressions. The Spaniard said, that sounds good. One said, great, let's put it into action immediately, the Spaniard added. To avoid any issues, we should first find a smuggling ship to Korea. At that moment, a sinister smile spread across the faces of the 12 apostles. On the other hand, with Ma Kyung-rak's mediation, Ryu had met Christine. Their conversation had been brief. It was all as Jeffrey said, and when Christine asked about the location of the Black Scythe, Ryu subtly shook his head and gave a pre-prepared answer. He said he didn't know. He admitted he had seen him in the future, but claimed he didn't know his real identity or location in reality. Ryu added, he must be reluctant to reveal his identity, otherwise he wouldn't wear a mask. Trying to find him might make things worse. She said that's probably true. Ryu had been surprised at how quickly Christine had agreed. He knew she was just putting on a show for her father. But her desire for information about the necromancer was genuine. There were too many fallen comrades for her to bury her feelings of revenge. Of course, Ryu didn't give her any information, except for the prophecy about the 12th round. And he said to himself, revenge is a luxury for Christine. I can't let her be in danger again. A week had passed since his return, and the necromancer Christine sought was already a member of Messiah. Ryu said, I know Messiah well enough from experience, an international cooperative organization created to counter the Black Scythe. And the organization, composed of top players from various countries under the name of the 12 Apostles, would soon come to Korea to assassinate him. Ryu asked himself, it should be about a week left until they take action. He didn't know the exact time. The assassination timing varied slightly each round, but their approach was always the same. Ryu added, this time, they'll target the CPF squad members again. Their plan was to capture the squad members, to lure out the leader, Black Scythe. This process often involved the sacrifice of the squad members. Ryu said, I won't let that happen again. Not knowing what variables might arise, he had to prepare early. He needed to be ready to welcome foreign guests. After several hours, they targeted members of Ryu's police squad, Go Nam Cheol. He was surrounded by 4 men, and he asked himself, what's this? Are they foreign players? Judging by their faces and outfits, they were clearly foreign players. Surrounded, Namcheol swallowed hard, and he inquired, who are you guys? There was no answer, perhaps because he asked in Korean. They just smirked as if finding the situation amusing. One smirked and said, heh, look at this guy, he's totally scared. Another said, stop babbling and let's get to work. He said, yeah, let's subdue him first. We need him as bait. When all 4 drew their weapons, Nam Cheol realized the seriousness of the situation, and he said to himself, damn it, I knew something was off today. He wasn't confident against 4, but wasn't he a tough guy from Busan? Then he shouted, damn it, come at me. Even if I go down, I'll take at least 2 of you with me. But suddenly, the Brazilian ranker, Brix, closed the distance in an instant, and he placed his palm on Namcheol's abdomen and shouted. With a loud explosion, Namcheol was flung back. He flew 10 meters and crashed into a wall before falling to the ground. Even with armor, the shock felt like his internal organs had been shattered. Brix sneered arrogantly, saying, what is this? He's not even worth it. Didn't even take a minute. One said, don't waste your energy. Just keep an eye on him. I'll handle this one myself, Brix said. Cut it out. What if he dies? They said. Yeah, let's just leave it to Brix. The 3 others crossed their arms and smirked, signaling they wouldn't interfere, which Namcheol noticed, and he said, these bastards. Namcheol knew he couldn't even beat that steel fist, but nonetheless, he felt angry at being underestimated, and he said to himself, how did I end up facing these bastards? Though calling them bastards, each one was a top-ranked player in their country, the 12 Apostles. But Namcheol had no way of knowing this. Then Namcheol said, I'll kill you, Brix shouted. What's he saying? Crazy bastard. Suddenly, Namcheol disappeared. Brix was startled, but Namcheol hadn't really vanished. He had simply moved close very quickly. Though surprised by the unexpected speed, Brix smirked. He was confident he could block any blade with his steel fist. He saw the sword's trajectory and placed his fist precisely to block it. Clang was the expected sound, but instead, there was a different one. Seeing his wrist cut off, Brix's comrades snickered from behind, and one said, "Knew Brix would screw up." Another said, "Yeah, why did he insist on going alone? The second-ranked guy in Brazil will be crying now." Hit by a wind shot like a cannon, Nam Cheol was thrown against the wall again. One said, "Brix, need our help?" Brix shouted, "Shut up! I'll kill this bastard." He said, "Hey, remember, we need him as bait for Black Scythe." Brix said, "There are other bait candidates. Other teams will find bait," he said. "We don't know that. At least try talking to him first." The reasonable suggestion calmed Brix a bit, and he said, "Fine, let's talk." After first aid treatment to stop his wrists bleeding, Brix approached Nam Cheol, and he asked, "Hey, are you close with your captain?" Nam Cheol inquired. "What?" he said. "Your boss, Black Scythe." Even without much English, Nam Cheol understood the words, boss and Black Scythe, and he asked, "Are you talking about our captain?" Brix said, "What's he saying?" "He seems to understand," he added. "Phone number. You know your boss's number? Call here. Call him." Understanding. Brix. Nam Cheol's expression changed drastically, and he shouted, "Fuck you, you idiot!" Brix said, "Fuck you?" Wow, unbelievable. "Guys, what should we do?" Brix turned to his companions, and at that moment, Nam Cheol's sword flashed toward his throat. But Brix, who had deliberately shown an opening, had already dodged to the side, and he said, "You think you can fool me, you idiot?" Brix's steel fist slammed into Nam Cheol's side. As his ribs broke, Nam Cheol fell to the ground, groaning in pain. Then Brix said, "See, this guy's got no intention of giving us the number, right?" One said, "Seems that way." He said, "All right, then I'll have some fun with him." One said, "Do as you like, but don't take too long. We're short on time." A devilish smile spread across Brix's face as he looked down at Nam Cheol, and he said, "You're in for it now. You dared to cut my hand? I'll break every bone in your body and make sure you die slowly and painfully." Just as Brix's fist was about to descend, a voice called out, "Well, look at that. 4 corpses ready to be used." A man walked into the alley. It was Ju Seong Tak, who had come at Black Scythe's command.